There's been a lot of VR games of recent time. It's been getting better with multiple games being released more frequently than before. I don't have the Oculus Rift, but they have amazing games that I would love to try out one day. I only have the PlayStation VR and they have good games too. They have games like Blood and Truth, Farpoint, Firewall Zero Hour. The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners will be on PlayStation soon, so I can't wait for that, as well as The Walking Dead Onslaught. Even though there's a lot of VR games to play, I feel like there's just some games that could be made to bring back like a classic franchise or just bring a new experience to a beloved series. I thought of a few games that I love developers to make in the future, so hopefully in like the next 5 years we can get most of them. House of the Dead. I remember always going to the arcade and mostly playing shooting games and racing games. House of the Dead was like top 3, and I always played it, especially with a friend right beside me. I don't think I beat the game as a kid, but I'm pretty sure if they made it now, I definitely would beat it. They could either remaster the game or just make up a completely different game. Definitely make it extra gory and maybe have a retro mode like how the arcades used to look for nostalgic purposes. Adding online co-op is definitely a must. Like, who wouldn't want to play a fun rail shooter with a partner? Pretty much keep everything the same, just add a little bit more stuff to make it worthwhile. Time Crisis. Another game that was always fun to play at an arcade. Like House of the Dead, just keep it the same, just add more stuff to give a fresh take on it. I also found out that the last Time Crisis was 5 years ago, so the franchise is still alive. Practically any rail shooter is fun as long as the gunplay is fun. It's also interesting to point out that Time Crisis 4 was on PS3 that came with its own gun con, so technically it's on console but just the old gen. Resident Evil. Yeah, I know we have a Resident Evil game in VR. What I mean is a Resident Evil game only for VR. It doesn't have to be super big like playing as Chris or Leon, even though I would like that very much. It could be something simple, maybe a different perspective either in Raccoon City or maybe another location that's infected by Umbrella. What I think could be cool is either playing certain events like how they had it with the Umbrella and Darkside Chronicles. I mean, they can also add those two games too to the list because I want to play them again. They were actually really fun. Or maybe dive in on the new Blue Umbrella, showing us what they've been doing before or after the events of RE7. Call of Duty. With all the Call of Duty games we've had within like 10 years, there has been never any talks of putting one on VR. Yeah, there is one COD VR game, but it's just a mission based on Infinite Warfare, like the Star Wars space mission in Battlefront. And I actually like the game. It would be cool if they actually add more missions and maybe add some missions that actually involves a gun, you know, maybe a little like narrative to it. I think that would be interesting. And imagine using the PlayStation aim controller to shoot. That'd be pretty awesome. Star Wars. I don't know how we don't have a legit Star Wars VR game. I think there's something out now that's related to Darth Vader, but I'm surprised that there isn't like a lightsaber duel game or something at this point. There actually is a few Star Wars VR games, and they all do focus around the lightsaber, but there's none that actually has a lightsaber duel game. Pretty much playing Wii Sports Resort with the swordplay game was the closest of having like a lightsabers battle. Dead Space. Dead Space honestly needs to make a comeback. The last game, Dead Space 3, came out in like what, 2013? I can't remember if there's any talks of a sequel or a reboot. But honestly, whatever game it is, EA should really consider making VR games, at least start them with Dead Space if anything. Funny enough, I was actually going to name Ironman as one of the games on the list, but they already announced the game. It should be released in a couple months because it did get delayed. I kind of did predict this a long time ago that hey, they probably should end up making an Iron Man game because it makes sense, and since he has like a lot of hype after Endgame. Same thing with Spider-Man, but we have 2 Spider-Man VR games, but they're only for like the movie experiences. So I guess you can count that, but I want like a cool legit Spider-Man game where you're swinging around doing like legit missions and stuff like that. And the last game is Superman. I've been waiting the longest time for a Superman game, and I know Superman has a thing about not having good games, but I feel like with the right developers, we can end up having a good Superman game, especially with the right premise. Technically, we have one with the Justice League experience thing, just like the Spider-Man, but I'm not going to count that just like the Spider-Man games. At least a cool flight simulator, flying around the city, reaching great heights. That Megatron game is kind of a mixture of Superman and Iron Man, so if you put it like that, it makes you think how likely it is to make a Superman game. It's a possibility that we can get one, but you just gotta put it in the right direction. I'm probably in the minority of this, but I just really want a Superman game. As time goes on, we keep getting news about concept arts of canceled Superman games. Yeah, they could be fake, but they look legit to me. But if we're gonna be safe about it, I'd rather have it start with VR. That's all the games I can think of for now. Maybe if I think of more or someone gives me other suggestions, I might make another video. But if not, thanks for watching and I'll talk to y'all later.